Yes.
So yeah, you just never know. So yeah, no, I got to give shout out to my husband, the wonderful Bishop Keith Farmer. I love him. I'm just so thankful to have him. He is the best husband on this side of heaven.
Wow.
I know, I got that. So I'm sorry because I already got it. So.
Come on,
I feel the same way about mine.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right, you better celebrate your husband.
Come on now.
You better.
Come on.
Because if you don't, somebody else will.
Okay.
No comment, though. We're not going to go there.
We wasn't even going to talk about
We
that.
weren't even supposed to go there.
But I feel led to ask you about your relationship with your husband.
Oh, fabulous.
Because, we're in a season where, we're seeing a lot of divorce happening. There's a lot of divorce happening. And not only that, it seems to be a different generation of married folks. And that generation may include myself. It may include Arkila. Because we are in that newlywed phase, so to speak.
I'm still only 2 years in, so we still newlywed. But you know what? I think that the key is that you better keep it newlywed season. So 5 years, 10 years, 20, 50, 85 years in, you better still be newlywed.
So how do you do that, though? For somebody who may be listening that says, okay, we've been married for 5 years and I want to kill her.
Uh-oh. Well, you know what? Because I'm just gonna be real about this. I've kind of messed up a few times already, so I kind of know what it is to not have a good marriage. So I know how to truly treat my husband and really first and foremost hear from God before I even got into that situation.
Wow.
Because that's what got me into them other situations is because I really wasn't listening to God. So, I tell a lot of even my clients and other individuals, because it's really important, even when you're in business, that you are with a mate that is connected and is going to be there for you,
I
agree.
regardless of whoever is the business owner.
Right.
And you have to be equally yoked. And, when I was a little younger, I didn't know what equally yoked was. I thought it was because we both like blue.
Okay, right.
And we both love Law and Order.
That's
Right.
Right. We both do those things.
Yeah.
And it's so much deeper than that.
It is.
And I don't think that we really connect to understand that. And so first and foremost, before you even dive in, make certain that this is what God is saying for you to do and the person for you to do this with. Because that's what's going to make things easier. You're not, you work things out. You decide that you want to keep it moving. You have goals. You want to keep living the increase that God has for your life. And that only comes when you're equally yoked.
Wow. Let me ask you this, and we're going to move on.
Okay.
But it's a reason why we talked about your husband, because we're going to transition into something really cool. But I recently heard somebody say that although they recently acquired a new position, a job, they were a full-time mom and they are, a full-time wife. But they didn't feel fulfilled. They weren't proud. They didn't feel like they had anything to be proud of. And I thought that was really different. Just because, obviously I'm a husband, but, even from, my mother, who had been married for almost 20 years, and my sister, my sister-in-law and some other people that I know who are married, and, my wife, of course, they took pride in the fact that they, even if it was just that they kept good home, or they took care of their children, they were very proud of that. So is that something different that's happening now? Or?
You know what? I think that's not being taught in the household any longer. So that goes back to, we got a different age group of grandmas that, first and foremost, we trying to, we glammas, not grandmas, and we trying to, turn up with your cousins and everybody else versus trying to put, I'm sorry. But you're really trying to get to understand that you're leaving a legacy for your children. And it's not just about, who you're, dealing with, but it's also understanding that because of my values, I'm going to instill those into my children and instill those into my grandchildren. We don't really have that.
Right.
And so when you're looking at the women that are coming up now, they're not more concentrated on their households and things of that nature, because they look at Real Housewives of
they worry
Pick
about
a city,
shoes,
Right.
and
Pick a city. I love it.
Right. That's what they concerned about. So they're comparing themselves with everyone else. And the social media, even though we love it, the social media doesn't really help that, especially for some women. And I even talk about this, to a lot of my clients and other people that truly, even myself, I'll put my hand up first and say, hey, you know what? Sometimes I got to fast from the social media. Why?
Yes.
Because when I see, such and such doing this and this girl over here talking about she, slaying it, going to the Beyonce concert, I'm like, hold on. And then my husband had to check me like, look, if you wanted to go, you could. But you have a different standard. You prefer spending your $5,000 on a business. Or you rather take that $5,000 and invest it into something else.
Right.
And you could have invested it into Beyonce if that's what you wanted to do, but that's not what you are led to do. So sometimes we have to bring it back, and that's where that spouse is there with us to help us pull ourselves back. Because I'm the first one to say, hey, God made me the weaker vessel. I am the female. I am a feminine woman. So I need my husband. I need his strength. I need him to be that stronghold to help me through difficult situations. Even though I'm a business owner, I'm a CEO of a company, I'm doing some great things, I'm still needing him to help me and cover me, shelter me, and guide me through a lot of things.
But why is it important to allow him to guide you?
Because I'm not made that way.
Wow.
I'm not made that way. And so because I'm not made in that manner, and because I can go back to, when I wanted to be I can do it all. I don't need no man. All I need a man is for X, Y, and Z, because we can't, fill in the blank. Then here, what we got? We're stressed out, hair falling out. I'm balding on my sides, and I'm sitting here and I'm rocking, and things start to come in. That's when the devil gets to slip in, because we're going over and beyond what God really built us to be. And so here, when you go and then quote unquote allow this man, see, that's the problem. Just like how we quote unquote allow God to be God, we're going to quote unquote allow this man, this husband, to be the husband in our life. But when that happens, when we finally say, and this is why your single time is so important, because this is your first time of understanding true intimacy. You're having an intimacy with God. And because you have that intimacy with God, then you'll be able to be a better wife to your husband. See, I had to learn all that. See, I had to mess up a couple of times for me to then understand. So because God was able to be God in my life, I was then able to see where my husband's position truly is and appreciate that. So I don't have to do it all. It's not my duty to do it all. I'm supposed to worry about what kind of makeup am I supposed to wear, how my eyebrows is looking, and what kind of hairdo am I going to wear. And that's because why? I want to look beautiful for him. When you say, oh, look at how beautiful you are, because I represent him. I represent God. And so I want to come out and look my best for the fact that my last name is Farmer. And I am connected to that man of God.
Yes, I receive all of that.
You preaching up in here.
You see me? I'm so
wait a minute.
I'm so quiet. I'm just saying, like.
I promise you, bless you, Bishop Keith. I promise you that we're gonna talk all about your business. I promise. But I got one more thing.
It's okay. I'm good.
Because you don't understand how many people, they write emails and people stop me on the street and they're asking me about these relationships. And so just from your introduction, I knew that if you didn't come here for anything else, I knew that there was something that you were going to say that was going to bless everybody that's listening that's married, want to be married,
also.
thought about being married, is married,
Amen.
whatever the
Yes,
case
yes,
may
yes,
be.
yes.
Because the other thing that I hear all the time is we're in a society now, unfortunately, as much as us husbands want to be able to provide completely for our wives, we sometimes are in situations where we need assistance from our wives. But then you have the wives that say, okay, well, since I'm pitching in, then the role should reverse, and then I'm the head. Or the
that's
role
a bit
should
much,
reverse, because, or it's not my job to help you.
Ooh, I thought the word says I was created to be your helpmate.
Well, it's I'm working because I'm trying to help you out, but I should not have to do this.
See, that goes back to that equally yoked thing. See, when you are connected, you then become one. So we have one common goal. We have one interest, and we working towards that interest. And so if I'm doing X, Y, and Z, right? If I'm over here and I'm grinding and I'm getting in because I know we want to go to the Bahamas,
Right.
we going to the Bahamas, boo. Like, why is there an issue if this is what I'm gonna help with? I'm here to be your helpmate. God, that's what God designed me to be, was to help you. So whatever that matter, that thing is that you need help with, that's what God placed inside of me. I was reading this book, and he's actually a really good friend of me and my husband's. His name is Dale Lott Jr. And he has this book, and it talks about it's really supposed to be for men, but I think it's really for women. But the book is designed to teach people what God wants you to have in your mate. And one thing that I read in this book that really helped me, and me and my husband were talking about this earlier today actually, was the fact that God created the gold, the value, that special thing, that diamond is inside of me. And so when I connect with the man of God, then now he receives this valuable thing that's within him. Now that's where his favor kicks in. That's when now his life goes to a whole nother level, because now God has finally given him his woman of God, and now they've become one. But because of what is inside of her, it then brings value and takes him to another level.
Yeah.
And so when you start to understand and see the value inside of you while you're single, even during that first couple of years of marriage, I think that that's what really keeps you going. Because then as a woman, you really understand why you're not going to go out and have sex with nobody, why you're not going to do this, why you're not going to do that, because you're so valuable.
Right.
You're priceless. And you're so priceless once you get with the man of God that God has designed for you. You're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. So when you talk about women who, I don't feel right at the house, and I'm not feeling this and I'm not feeling that, well, you have to sit down and communicate this. Because one thing that a man wants to do is please you. He wants to make you happy. He wants to do anything and everything so that he can see that smile on your face. And so if you're sitting there communicating to him, hey honey, I wanted this and I want that, or this is some issues with that I'm having, he's going to do everything he can to make certain that you're pleased and make certain that you're happy. So what really is the problem? Are you sitting there talking to your girlfriends? You talking to your mama? You talking to your aunties? Like, who's really in the relationship at this point? Is it just you and your husband and, and God? Or is it everybody and their mama too? See, that also makes a difference, because then if me and her getting together and she's telling me, girl, my husband this and my husband that, and I'm like, girl, if that was my husband, I would do this and that, knowing she going home cooking, cleaning, doing this, doing that for her husband, but she telling you something different. So you have to make certain that what's around you is blessed, is clean, it wants the best for you, that your friends and family members are praying for you. And if they're not, don't talk to them about your business. Keep your business to yourself. You should be talking to your best friend, which is A, God, and B, your husband.
Period.
Yes,
Period.
I agree.
So what about, and this is the very last thing I'm going to ask you. The woman that says, I want to submit, but I don't want to feel like a doormat.
Huh?
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the... See, that's a good one. So I'm going to go back to the equally yoked point. See, again, when I messed up, you know, them few times I messed up, because it was a few, I felt that way. I felt like I was being used, mistreated, abused. But the word says that he wants husbands to treat their wives like Christ treats the church. And so I kept having to compare. I'm like, okay, if this dude over here, because I have to say dude, because you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, if this dude over here is sitting here talking about, oh, you're this and you're that, that's not what my Christ talks to me about. He says that he wants me to be loved, being kind, caring, considerate.
Yes.
He wants the fruit of the Spirit for me. So if that is what I'm supposed to receive and I'm not receiving that, then I got an issue already. Because that a true man of God.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know nothing else. Well, I do, because that's
Yeah.
why they...
Yeah.
Right. A true man of God, they're going to want that for you. They're going to give you that fruit of the Spirit. They're going to treat you like Christ like Christ treats his church. Because he already had an intimate relationship with God and the Holy Ghost, he's able to then now understand how to treat you in a whole different level. So when you have that, you're gonna love to submit.
Yeah.
You're going to love to submit, because what are you submitting to? You're really submitting to God. So when you're saying, oh, I have a problem with submitting, well, you're having a problem submitting to God is what you're really saying. Because then if you're in this marriage, you know, and I got a question, you know, did God tell you get married, or was it your hormones, your mama, you know, somebody, you know, you got a baby daddy now, you want to make it right. Like, what was the true issue? Or truly, was this something that God said, here, let's do this?
We're going to break, and then we're going to come back and talk about your business.